I'm gonna let I'll let it happen.
And we are back. And the last thing I wanted to talk about is y'all seen that shit with Young Boy and his like the whole thing about being a man?
This nigga
Mhm.
stupid.
Okay, and I'm a paraphrase here because like it was on a video and I don't even think it was his video. It was that his son or
This
Who the
motherfucker.
fuck
I
that
don't know
was?
who that kid was, but he was like,
Ray, please tell these people what he said so I can go ahead and dig in his shit.
okay, he said, "Who the fuck said fighting make you a man?" Man, bitch, killing make you a motherfucker, man. You talk about bitch and all that other ignorant young boy shit they be talking. Like basically, he's saying like it's like fighting don't make you a man, killing a nigga do. And I'm paraphrasing. Go ahead, Q. Just go ahead, go on.
Oh my god. Hold on. Hold on. Let me prepare y'all for this one. Okay. All right. You young, dumb, stupid, ignorant son of a bitch. Like I hate motherfuckers like you. You are the reason why the motherfuckers that we actually like and respect are dead because of bitch ass
Damn.
niggas like you. Because of
Damn.
hoe ass niggas like you. Because of sucker ass niggas like you. Who's scared to put a fucking piece of metal down and stand in the middle of that fucking street and get your ass beat like the real motherfucker you supposed to be. King Von dead because he was whooping the shit out of a nigga who was trolling motherfuckers and can't never do nothing in real life. This is exactly what's going to happen to that pretty colorful head motherfucker when somebody finally get their hands on him. They're gonna beat the brakes off that boy, put him in a coma. This is why motherfuckers is dead. This is why Nipsey Hussle was dead. Because Nipsey Hussle was a motherfucker that'll walk up on you and slap the shit out you at an award show for disrespecting somebody that he hang around. Like, this is why motherfuckers like we fuck with is dead. This is no coincidence. So for a motherfucker who claimed to do all this gangsta ass shit and all this gut ass shit, and you straight from the hood and all this shit to say some dumbass, gay ass, bitch ass, 2020 ass, goofy ass shit. It don't surprise me that that stupid ass, dumbass motherfucker would say that shit. The nigga 21 with like 9 fucking kids and 7 baby mothers. Like the nigga life is fucking over. Like get the fuck out of here. The best, like get shut the fuck up. You sound fucking stupid, bro. Like who the fuck told you? Who the fuck raised you to make you think that that was the fucking way, bro? It's easy as shit to pick up a gun and shoot somebody. That's easy. That's easy as fuck. You can accidentally shoot somebody. You can accidentally shoot somebody, and that can kill somebody. You can't accidentally beat the fuck out of somebody. You got to really be able to do that shit. So I would rather be able to say I whooped that nigga ass from start to finish than to say, oh yeah, I shot that nigga. Like, nigga, what? Soldier Boy tried that shit some like a year ago. Had a whole story how he shot a nigga. Nigga tried to rob him. He shot him. Made the nigga run outside the motherfucking his whole some stupid ass story. And then he got on live and got pressed out and didn't do nothing. So that tell you, like, this is not a fucking game. So for you to be an artist that these young niggas is I'm okay. Let me rephrase that. For you to be a black young artist and influence to these young children out here, because anybody under 21 is listening to NBA Youngboy non-stop. I can guarantee it. I got a little brother right now who's 18, swears NBA Youngboy is the best thing smoking right now, besides Lil Baby. But that's just his preference. So for you to be an influencer, for you to be, they look up to you. These young kids look up to you. For you to say something like that out your mouth, like how dare you? Like this is the difference. This is why I enjoy and I embrace the music that was introduced to me as a kid, because this is not something I would hear. It's not something I would hear one of my favorite art. DMX was one of the most gangster. Come on, he walked around with a pit bull robbing people. He didn't need a gun. He didn't need a gun. He had a whole dog and made you give up everything you had. But you say shooting a gun make you a man more than fighting somebody. What? Say that shit to the father of the girl that you just had a baby with who won like 50 fights and never lost. Cause he's like he's damn near a billionaire. I don't think you're gonna get $1 billion shooting nobody. Like I don't think that's like who told you that? That's just like, oh my God, like I cannot stand ignorant people like this. Like this is these are these people, these ignorant lost souls are the ones who take 10 who cause our community to take 10 steps back. Like they cause us to take 10 steps back and make us look crazy. Like we don't know what the fuck we're trying to do. I hate shit like this. This make us look bad. It's disrespectful to anybody, any OGs in front of us. Because they didn't do that shit because they wanted to be a man. They did that shit to defend themselves. They did that shit to defend what their honor, defend what they believed in. These new young niggas that just out here killing people, like the dumb motherfucker that just killed that 1 year old baby, man.
Yo, rest in peace to that man, little Carmelo, the 1 year old that got shot in the car. That was a sad story.
Like, come on, man. And this the shit you say out your fucking mouth, bro. This kids out here dying from stray bullets because goofy ass, stupid ass, bitch ass niggas like you, excuse my language on this podcast, but motherfuckers like you that make it hard for people like me who don't be into that shit, who would rather put some gloves on and make you step in the parking lot and see me with the hands. Because that's how I was raised. That's how I was raised. That's how I was brought up by men, wholesome men, men who did everything under the sun, but had morals, values, had something to go home to, had something they wanted to go home to. This wasn't an occupation. This wasn't something. This wasn't something that they wanted to retire and do for the rest of their life. This is something to get them by. This wasn't nothing that they was proud of doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, come on, man. It don't make sense. Shit is ridiculous. Shit is disrespectful.
Father, it's on you.
Man, my boy Q was spitting. God damn.
This
So
nigga spitting.
bruh. So yeah, I just want to echo the sentiments of my beloved brother. And I always said this. I said money is not an excuse for bitch assness. Okay, you cannot have money and then use that as a way to excuse the bitch assness in your spirit. Because I feel like if you was a bitch ass nigga before you had money, the money just gonna amplify your bitch assness. And I keep using this word because I fucking love that word. Bitch assness, bitch assness, bitch assness. So anyway, yeah, NBA YoungBoy, like my boy said, like this man got like nine kids with like seven different baby mamas. And you trying to tell me what constitutes manhood and what makes somebody else a man? Shut the hell up. You know what I'm saying? First of all, you wasn't even really man enough to have sexual discipline and to have babies with somebody that you care about. Instead, you took nine women that had absolutely nothing, that probably had their whole lives ahead of them, and then now they got babies by you. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's cool that you got the money to take care of these kids and you stepped up and you a father and shit, but like seven baby mamas, my nigga, and you sitting there talking about manhood. I think you need to I think you need to find your manhood with a condom or with the concept of pulling out. And you know what I'm saying? I'm not here to, disrespect the man or whatever, because at the end of the day, he making his money, he's gonna take care of his responsibilities. But at the same time, you cannot come to social media and talk about what constitutes manhood when you out here looking goofy You know what I'm saying? There was a whole story of you having herpes, you know, and I see you, you know, like you making music and you talking about a lot of shit. So I mean, at the very end of the day, do you? At the very end of the day, you gonna do what's gonna help you eat and help your family eat or whatever. I mean, you have no choice because you got fucking seven baby mamas, but leave manhood to the real men. You know what I'm saying? It's obvious that you still coming up, you still young as shit, and you think having money is an excuse for you to dip your hand in whatever you ain't got the range of being in. You know what I'm saying? You ain't about that life enough to be giving people advice like and shit like that. You know, you hold 21 years old, bruh. Just live your life and grow. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not supposed to be this thing where, oh, you know, I have an opinion on something and you know your opinion be wrong as shit and it's not based on reality and you sitting here proud of the shit. You know what I mean? Like that's nothing to be proud of. And I don't even know why the fuck that shit came out your mouth. And I always try to make it a point where, like, black men, we need to get back to our nature. We need to get back to the way we were before white supremacy fucked us up. You know what I'm saying? Because before white supremacy fucked us up, nigga, we was having 12 wives and we was building empires. You know what I'm saying? We wasn't really catching lit from other niggas that wasn't even about that life because we rather build shit than beef with somebody. You know what I'm saying? We was the type of niggas like the richest man in the entire history of humankind was in Africa. We need to get back to that type shit. You know what I'm saying? We need to get back to this to providing for our kids so we can pass something down. Legacy is super important to us as black men. That it's in our nature to pass down our morals and our values and our principles to our kids so they can pass that shit down and we live on forever with the shit that we pass down to our kids and then they pass down to their kids. That's called immortality. You know what I'm saying? Black men, before white supremacy fucked us up, we had a legacy of immortality. We still talk about Mansa Musa to this day because of what the fuck he did. You know what I'm saying? We still talk about Shaka Zulu because of what the fuck he did. We still talk about Sasan Louverture over in Haiti because of what he did. We still talk about Dessalines over in Haiti because of what he did. You know what I'm saying? Let's come over to America. We talk about Martin Luther King. We talk about Malcolm X. We talk about Kobe Bryant. We will talk about these people forever because they built legacies that immortalize them, and that's the nature that we had as black men. That is the one thing that kept us going all these years. That's the one thing that kept us alive during all this white supremacy shit that we was going on. We wanted to pass our shit down to our kids. You know what I'm saying? So if you a black man that is in tune with his nature and a black man that actually has principles and morals and values that he stand behind and he's solid and he's down, he's not going to be out here making baby mamas from out of nowhere because he's going to have the discipline within himself to only provide for those that care for him. You know what I'm saying? He's going to reciprocate that energy. A real black man, he's not going to be sitting around toting guns because that shit is fucking useless. The only time he's toting a gun is to protect his family from an intruder or from an outsider of his community. That's the only time he's toting a gun. A real black man is not going to sit around saying babbling dumb shit and saying stupid shit to the kids out here. A real black man is going to fucking uh, he's gonna take the youth and he's gonna teach them in a way that will benefit them. Here's how to get some money. You know what I'm saying? Here's what you do when you with a woman. Here's how to court a woman. Here's how to treat a woman. You know what I'm saying? Here's how to manage your money. This is like shit that's actually going to help not only the individual but the people around the individual as well. That's our nature as black men. So again, as Q said, when we see these little bitch ass niggas over here babbling, talking about toting guns and all that shit, you a sucker because you ain't got no principles, and you are obviously someone that ain't got shit in life. So you think all that little rah rah shit is gonna help you get respect in this world. The motherfuckers that got the most respect in this world is the motherfuckers that signing checks. You know what I'm saying? There's people out here building artificial intelligence. There's people out there running banks. There's people out there that's buying whole businesses. And you sitting here over in the streets talking about you a man because you told guns and you got seven baby mamas. Shut the fuck up. Go ahead, Ray.
as you see, there's a lot of passion from both of these brothers, and I don't blame them because it is a very ignorant thing to say. I think the way I looked at it is I've always looked at it as a product. People being a product of your environment. I understand like not everybody that come from the hood is ignorant or like a bunch of gangsters because there are a lot of good people that do come out the hood. But I always wonder about the people like the young boy that come out the hood that gets famous and never really change their mentality of how they think of things. Even though they done seen the world, they still have this like hood mentality that they don't ever leave. Most people call that being an institutionalized, or as other people say, being a product of the environment. One thing about Young Boy though, I've always said, and even though I don't listen to his music, I've always said the boy can rap. Like that's one thing I've always said there. But a lot of these rappers that have these mentalities like this, they're not right in the head. And the reason why, obviously, like anytime you see Young Boy, and I've seen a lot of pictures of Young Boy, that boy don't smile. Like it's like something is wrong with him. Like he cannot enjoy life at all. Like every time I see him on Instagram or like a DJ Academics post, he looks angry. Like he look angry about things. Like even when he flashing money, like he's angry or is he sad or like it's like something wrong. Like he's very soulless looking. So like what like everything he said is just I'm not surprised, but I feel like a lot of these people don't really talk to him about his mentality. I don't think a lot of people really get into people's business like that, or if he wants to open up himself, because you see like people like Jeezy now, and even Gucci, like they're in their 40s, and they kind of like reflect on the things, and they're maturing now, and they're trying to like have families and all that other stuff. Try to do things that doesn't require street shit. Like Jay Z is a like perfect example of him being a dude from the street to now he's a businessman that owns stuff and all that stuff. You see people like that, and you see growth, and you see that a lot. I want to see these, but I want to see these in these young rappers, but not like 10 years down the line. Like a
Correction,
year.
correction. He's not a businessman. He's a businessman.
Let me handle that business. Thank you. Thank you. Q. But like I said, like I don't want him to get to Jay Z's age to like think that comment was stupid, because a lot of times everybody's like, "Oh, he's a young boy, let him live." It's like some things you got to like nip in the butt. And like, quick story, like the reason why I never smoked cigarettes is because of my father. And like, I don't think I've ever told people this story. Like, I like pretended to smoke a cigarette around him, and my father beat my ass. And to then, I never wanted to touch a cigarette. That's why I've never touched. I've never touched a cigarette in my life, nor weed or none of that other stuff, because you're like I think my father instilled it. Like I think he saw something that was like bad, and he just like, I don't want to say beat it out of me, but he like nipped it in the butt. So now I've never touched a cigarette to this day. Now alcohol, yeah, I drink, but that's just, I like alcohol. But other than that, some things you got to nip in the butt early, especially when you see things as toxic like that. You got to nip that in the butt. And one thing, Father, and then Q did um touch on as well, and I want to touch on, is that like we gotta get to a point where like we gotta have these boys learning to live for self. Like a lot of these, like if you ask some of these people, like, how do you want to die? And I think a lot of them will say like they'll die in this blaze of glory, like it's Scarface, like guns blazes, like in a shootout. And I feel like Young Boy is like one of those dudes. And rest in peace, FPG Duck. But that man was a soldier. So, and I've always said like people like them is like born a soldier, die a soldier. Like even though King Vaughn was was fighting, and then they pulled a gun on him on some bitch shit. I'm pretty sure, I'm not gonna assume nothing, but I'm pretty sure like if you would have asked him how he wanted to die, and like this is a weird question to ask people, but I always like, but I feel like you get this get in the mind of people, and I feel like he would have probably said the same thing, like die in the glaze of glory with a chopper on him or some shit like that. Like a lot of like any young boy video you see, that nigga got a gun on him. Like any of these rappers you don't see them, they got a gun on them. They talk about keeping a pistol on them and all that other shit. So, and it's just like money and guns is just run some of these young run some of these young cats. So like he has a talent. Even though I don't listen to his music, he has a talent. I really want him to express his talent more than like him expressing like these toxic ass mentality. Like we really got to get our people out of that, especially like Q said, like there's people like around his age that young boy is just like, oh, they like he's the greatest thing smoking. Just like probably around my days, people were like Gucci was the best thing smoking, or like Jeezy was the best thing smoking. But you know, the difference between that is like, even though I love Gucci and Jeezy, I'm not a trapper. Like I knew that like I'm not about that life, so I don't really portray that life. And I've listened to gangster music my whole life. But some of these people like they are very easily influenced. They're gonna try to do some of this shit that Young Boy do. I know a couple like I don't understand why people mimic Young Boy because that nigga wear tight jeans and he still sag, and it's just like I can see why he don't fight because the pants he be wearing, like he couldn't he couldn't stand in a regular boxing stance anyway, and he just stands weird. Like everything about him is just like it's not right. It's like can't get right. So when I look at him, it's just like I don't think no one's ever talked to him, like really sat down and like got to know Young Boy. So and I want a lot of and I say this a lot, especially for like older mentors or older black men. Like we really got to like talk to some of these youngins and see where their mind is at, just to know, like we could guide them to the right way. Because I do feel like, um, as much as we always say black women are the backbone community, we are. I always say black men are the enforcers. We like everything else. We're like everything else, the arms, the legs, the heads. It's like black women being the backbone, you know, it controls stuff, but we gotta like put ourselves out there to like make sure we put some of these brothers in the right way. Like it's more than just like give them the idea of more than making it out you don't have to play ball or rap. Like you could be a doctor or you could be a welder or you know something good that would be in the community. Like we gotta be more. We say this all the time, more community orientated when we're talking to our youth because they will be the people that will run this country. And I'm gonna be honest and see, I don't want to see no more depressed people talking about death and all that other stuff because that shit gets tiring. I like the next generation. I want them to talk about being very optimistic, being happy, being like saying they can do anything they want, and like if they can, you know, achieve it, they can do it, and like pass it on like good quality traits to our youth, and they can pass them good morals and traits to their youth, and that way we can have of like more of an optimistic outlook. Even though yes, we know the world is fucked up, I do want to see like our people like in a good spot at least. Like I feel like before we even move up the totem pole, we got to have a mentality that will help us move in a progressive way, not in a recessive way. Um, any last words before we get into our final thoughts?
Um, I guess the one thing that I just want to emphasize is like we gotta go back to our nature again, like I said, because this shit this shit has all been taught to us. How do I want to put this? Okay, so we live in a system of white supremacy, and because of that, we are put in certain situations and environments that are not healthy for us. You know what I'm saying? Like the very air we breathe is toxic for us, and that even science has broken that down. So when you have these environments where the people that are oppressed, of course you're going to have these violent sentiments, and the principles of how to conduct yourself as a man is going to be misconstrued and mistrusted because you live in a system that actively oppresses you every day. You know, when young boys are growing up, they're not learning about how great their people are and shit like that. They're in school, they're learning about the slave trade, they're learning about, oh, my granddaddy was a slave and shit like that. That fucks with you. And then you go back to an environment where it's not economically it's not a good economic place to be in, it's not a good social place to be in. People are struggling, they got to find every other way to make ends meet so they can feed their families and shit. And then we basically live in areas of boiling water. You know what I'm saying? So they when you have that type of environment, you then it makes sense why these people are so hyper violent when it comes to certain shit, because America has given up on them. So why the hell would they have positive affirmations about, like, when you have, you know, put these people in a position where there's nothing to be positive about? So the like get them out of that environment, and then you'll start to see changes.
Q, you got anything to say before we move on to our final thoughts?
You gotta be. This generation needs the most positivity.
All right. And on that note, let's go to our final thoughts. Q, I want to start with you. Do you have any final thoughts?
Final thoughts. Uh, let's see. What's on my mind this week? Um, Progression. This is a time where we as a black community need to be prepared to progress. The year is almost over. The year is almost over. Donald Trump is almost out the office. It's almost over. We have to push forward now. It's time for us to make moves. It's time for us to push each other in a situation where we can be better, where we can make better decisions, where we can make better moves. There's no more sitting around. There's no more waiting for our opportunities to come towards us. We have now the opportunity to take what belongs to us. Progression. That's all it's about now. We are in a position to take what belongs to us. We cannot let this pass us by. That's my final thought.
Father is on you.
Um. So I guess my final thoughts. So I tweeted something yesterday, and I basically said that uh, if you are a Ghanaian and you are in America, but you are not for the progression of Black people in America or elsewhere, then you are in direct violation of your country. Because the Ghanaian flag, the black star in the middle is supposed to represent, black liberation for all black people across the world. That was the very point of the black star in the Ghanaian flag. So I tweeted that, and I also tweeted that in my household, we support our American brothers and sisters because that's what our black star in our flag represents. And a lot of people were rocking with it, and a lot of people were like thanking me and shit like that because apparently a lot of people really think that Africans don't fuck with black people in America. And I'm like, bro, that is like the most false sentiment you could ever have in your life. As a matter of fact, if you go to a lot of African countries, they literally emulate black people in America because the culture is so influential. They love y'all over there. The problem is that a lot of people that come over to the United States that immigrate, they be watching mainstream media and it be giving them a false, like it be giving them a false representation of black people in America, and then they act accordingly, and then they start to coon it up. A lot of us aren't like that, but a lot of us are. And I just want to reiterate the fact that if you are a black person, no matter where you go, you are going to experience anti-blackness from a white supremacist, institution, regardless of whether you're in Europe. Hell, you can go to China and experience white supremacy, not in the sense that these are white people, but in the sense that these people have smoke against you because of the color of your skin. We already saw that in places like Guangzhou, where they were literally quarantining black people that literally had nothing to do with the COVID vaccine, but tried to pass the buck on them. So I guess my final thoughts for today is remember that no matter if you are from Africa, no matter if you are from South America, no matter if you're Black American, no matter if you're Black Caribbean, like we all have the same enemy. and we need to stop beefing with each other and start uniting and giving these motherfuckers the smoke. And that's all I got to say.
I know Q talked about it a little bit earlier, but rest in peace, little Carmelo Duncan. That got shot in the car over there, 5700 block of Southern Avenue over there southeast. It's sad to see like little kids die like that, especially like with gunfire like that. That shit really hurt. Like I was watching the Mass Singer, and then like after that, you see some sad news like that. Kind of like blew my whole night. So we really we really gotta do something about this gun violence because I don't like seeing little kids like, especially like little adolescent kids, just be dying for no reason, and like especially being in the middle of gunfire that like none of them is worth being in. Obviously, like we shouldn't be like we don't said a lot of y'all really shouldn't be losing your fight over gunfire. If it's really worth y'all like talking it out or at least throwing the fade, y'all can at least do that. Yes, I know people just died from fist fights, but you know, as we jokingly said, but it's actually a real turn. You win some, you lose some, but you live to live to fight another day. Every day is a lesson. You should like at least like turn your L into a lesson, as most people would try to say. Like, like that little kid did not have to die off of that. So I just hate seeing stuff like that. Um, and like I guess 2021, we're in the season finale, as I would call it, the season finale of 2020. Maybe not in this episode, but we're probably talking about like we can one day we'll recap the whole year and like throw some positives and negative. But right now it's just we got month left to go, and I hope some positive stuff comes out of it. Like, the Cowboys winning all their games and like going to this damn Super Bowl, but that ain't gonna happen. But I hope like by the time Joe Biden and like um Q said, we get to the point where we just start improving and like progressing, and like us as black people we just get our shit together. So that's all I'm gonna have to say about that. I would like to thank the panel for jumping on the podcast as usual. I'd like to thank y'all for listening to hear us talk our shit again. This is You Know What, Let Me Just Say podcast, and we signing out. Peace.